Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight for a great program. I'm Hannah Petrie with the Education Department here at the St. Louis Zoo, and I just wanted to give a nice welcome to everyone here and a big thank you for the support of Cooper Busman, who underwrites the Science Seminar Series and the Conservation Conversations that the Academy of Science St. Louis puts on that we partner with. So we have on Tuesday, November 20th, another conservation conversation with Mike Masick, who is our curator of birds here at the St. Louis Zoo. And he's going to be covering the unique conservation challenges of saving the vulnerable desert Humboldt penguin in Punta San Juan, Peru. He's the curator of birds and the director of the Center for Conservation of the Humboldt penguin in Punta San Juan, Peru, one of the wild care institutes here at the zoo. And the Center for Conservation of the Humboldt penguin in Punta San Juan has been working with a network of partners over the course of the last 10 years to develop a multifaceted conservation program. Through these partnerships, real change has occurred and the future of the Humboldt penguin looks much brighter than it did a while ago. So we hope you guys are willing to join us for that. In the meantime, I'm going to turn it over to Rose from the Academy to tell us a little bit about our program this evening. Thanks.
So good evening. My name is Rose, as Hannah said, and I'm with the Academy of Science St. Louis, and we are very pleased to be partners with the St. Louis Zoo to bring you the Science Seminar Series, generously underwritten by Cooper Busman. Many of you are Academy members and friends. For those of you who aren't, I'm going to take just a moment to tell you a little bit about who we are. We're an independent science organization supported entirely through community contributions, and we've been connecting science in the community since 1856, so for a very long time. We have a long-standing mission to advance the public understanding of science and inspire the next generation of scientists and science advocates. And we do that through a very broad range of free and low-cost public science programming, collaborative science seminars, and trips and tours that highlight science at venues throughout the region. And you can find more information on the Academy and our community-wide events on our website at academyofsciencestl.org. You may also visit us on Facebook or Twitter or pick up some of our literature that is outside the theater at the visitor's desk. If you'd like to receive e-notification of upcoming Academy and St. Louis Zoo public lectures and events, there will be an e-news sign-up sheet that will make its way around the audience this evening. And if you're a student and you need to verify your attendance, you can come see me after tonight's talk or stop by the visitor's desk and we'll have someone there to hand you a card. I do want to mention just a couple upcoming events you might have an interest in attending. Tomorrow night, in partnership with the St. Louis Science Center and in the Explorer Dome at 7 p.m., we have Dr. Jason Wagner, Assistant Professor of Emergency Medicine at Washington University School of Medicine and Director of Simulation Studies. He's at the Science Center to talk about the emergency room of the future and emerging technologies in the ER. This talk is free and open to the public, but you do need to register to attend, and you can do so by logging onto our website. On Thursday, November 15th at 7 p.m., author of the 1904 Anthropology Days and Olympic Games, Sport, Race, and American Imperialism, Dr. Susan Brownell, is at the Missouri History Museum to take a fascinating look through the lens of sport at the bad science of race that justified the Anthropology Days experiment, in which, this is in quotes, savages took part in sports so their performances could be compared with those of the athletes at the 1904 World's Fair and Olympic Games. And she asks whether or not those perceptions continue to inform today's modern Olympic competitions. This event is free and open to the public, and you don't need to register to attend. On Thursday evening, November 29 at 7 p.m., we have former NASA astronaut and professor of physics and astronomy at the University of Missouri-Columbia, Dr. Linda Godwin. She's at Kirkwood High School's Keating Theater to talk about her experiences in space and what the U.S. plans to do in the next few years in space, including the possibilities of going beyond low Earth orbit and the efforts of the private space industry to provide low Earth orbit access. This event is also free and open to the public, and you do not need to register to attend. And then just very briefly, we have a number of very exciting speakers and upcoming talks as part of our Science Seminar Series here at the zoo, including a talk and book signing on December 12 on cyber forensics. On February 6th, we have Academy Fellow and Deputy Principal Investigator with the Mars Exploration Rover Mission, Dr. Ray Arvidsson. He's here to talk about exploring ancient Martian climates with the Opportunity and Curiosity rovers. On March 6th, and in partnership with the Alaska Wilderness League, we have award-winning author and nature photographer Florian Scholz. He's here to talk about the Arctic and to share his stunning photographs of this remote landscape into the Arctic, bringing a remote yet vibrant land to life. Copies of his book, To the Arctic, the official companion book to the IMAX film To the Arctic, will be available for purchase and signing. And then on April 3, the last talk in the series is Dr. Jerry Hayes. He's Biologics commercial lead with Monsanto Company, and he'll be here in the auditorium to talk about Biologics and Monsanto's commitment to honeybee health. So you can find more information on these and many more science opportunities on our website at academyofsciencestl.org, or again, we have some literature out on the visitor's desk for you to take with you when you leave this evening. So with that said, I'm going to introduce Ellen Dierenfeld. She's with St. Charles-based NOVUS International. Ellen is manager of NOVUS International's Global Sustainability Programs, and tonight's seminar is in partnership with NOVUS. NOVUS is currently working with and sponsoring tonight's speakers, all of whom are women scientists from Africa working in agricultural sciences to improve food security and help alleviate poverty and hunger in both their respective countries and across the globe. All of this evening's speakers are Award Fellows, Award being African Women in Agricultural Research and Development. Award is an ongoing project of the Gender and Diversity Program of the Consultative Group on International Agricultural Research, and is currently being funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and USAID. Award offers 2-year fellowships to women scientists from Africa. And so with that, I will turn it over to Ellen to tell you a little bit more about Award and NOVUS International's sponsorship work and mentorship of tonight's awards fellows. Won't you please join me in welcoming Ellen Dierenfeld.
Thanks very much, Rose. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'm pleased to be able to introduce the award program, a program that NOVUS International was the first corporate sponsor for outside of Africa. We've been working with Award for the past 3 years, and these 3 women that will be speaking tonight represent numbers 3, 4, and 5 of that program. Just a little bit more about the award program to complement what Rose has already given you the background of. The majority of those who produce, process, and market Africa's food are women. It's about 80% still, but still only about 1 in 4 agricultural researchers is female. Now that sounds bad, but it's actually improved from the last couple of years where 1 in 5 of Africa's agricultural researchers was female. So there is a change happening. Impacts are coming along, and the award program is one of those game changers. So we wanted to give you some more information on that program tonight. Now, even though 1 in 4 agricultural scientists is female, still only 1 in about 7 holds leadership position in the agricultural sciences. NOVUS International, for those of you that don't know, works in nutritional and health products, feed ingredients, and supplements, primarily for livestock, but also for companion animals and human health. So we've got an interest in multiple aspects of agriculture and health sciences, and the award program fits in really nicely with that, as some of the examples that you'll hear from our speakers tonight talk about. So the award program, as Rose said, is a fellowship program, 2-year fellowship program, competitive, that deals with women scientists at post-bachelor level, post-master's, and also post-doctoral levels. So there's different programs developed for these different levels of scientists. It was developed and piloted starting in 2004. It was about a 3-year pilot program before they got funding to develop it in 11 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. There's a very high demand. Other programs, similar programs, ask the award program how they've gotten such such response to the program. But they've worked very hard to cultivate not only women relationships within their program and other agricultural sciences, but the fellows themselves are some of the biggest advocates for pushing this program within their own institutions as well as other institutions around the world. And it's also a very transparent program. It's highly competitive, and they ensure that only the top scientists really are brought into this program. So it's only about the top 7 to 10% of the women ag scientists in countries that are awarded these fellowships. It focuses on 3 main platforms to strengthen the leadership and scientific skills of the African women, which then empowers them to pass those leadership skills and the scientific and technologies that they've learned to more effectively advocate for food security and the agricultural sciences with which they're involved in their own countries. And clearly makes them technically stronger, much better networked, and a much more visible presence in the agricultural sciences. So as I said, it's agricultural scientists, but it's across a very wide diversity of the agricultural scientists, ranging from breeders to policymakers, from extension educators to biotech people. They work on labor-saving technologies as well as climate change, on water management as well as value change. In other words, award is strengthening the talent pool for a very wide range of pressing challenges in Africa and across the world. And it has a ripple effect, as you could well imagine. So not only are the award fellows trained, but also there's training for mentors in the countries that these fellows are paired with, and their own students then become the mentees of these fellows. So it's a very large ripple effect. Built on 4 major cornerstones, as you can see, the mentoring partnerships, the scientific skills, those leadership capacities, and also learning, monitoring, and evaluating the efficacy of the program itself. Now, even though the award program is focused on women scientists, more than half of the mentors that are matched with these scientists are, in fact, men scientists in high-level positions that are strong advocates for pushing the positioning of these women scientists within their own disciplines and countries. As I said, it's developed on building scientific skills, and there are a number of partners, both scientific training institutes, universities, corporate partners that partner and allow scientific training opportunities for these award fellows. This is for the top performing postgraduates, this is an additional competition that's based on research proposals that are submitted. So it's a competitive research proposal for further advanced scientific training at these various institutions. These opportunities range from about 4 to 9 months and are really game changers for these women, making a difference not only to them as individuals, but also to their institutions and their countries in some of the impacts that they can have in the future. Obviously, developing their leadership capacity as well as their scientific skills. The metrics and evaluation program of award is also an important component of the program. And based on interviews with the awardees for the past several years, they've been able to document strong and compelling stories of impact that's making a difference in the lives and the science for these women that have been through this program. The numbers here are actually based on these actual impact stories. And this is just an example of change here in number of publications for some of these scientists pre-award versus post-award. Now, we don't think that all the increase is due to the award program itself, but this kind of information is important, showing that some of these increases are directly linked to opportunities that they get. Maybe it's from encouragement they get from their mentors, or just some of the self-confidence and scientific skills that they pick up in the program itself. But certainly we're seeing an increase in their publication outputs through this program. And just lastly, the first phase of the award program, very successful, will complete at the end of this year, and just recently phase 2 has started. The award program is pleased to announce that it will continue for the next 5 years, another 5-year phase, to train 230 more ag scientists in 11 sub-Saharan countries with a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grant for $14 million and a USAID grant for another $5 million. So it's showing real success and a real future. But clearly you didn't come here to listen to the background of the award program. You came to hear the stories of women that are directly impacted by this program. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Olepeju, Vetis, and Matilda to speak tonight about their experiences with the award program. Come on. Thank you. You want to come up?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olepeju Onodipe. Simply, just call me PG. It's really better. I'm here this evening to share my award experience, my life experience as a lady and as a lady scientist. I am and have, by virtue of theme this evening, African Agriculture, Nutrition, Gender Development, Dream, Development, and Delivery. Presently, I'm on an award research attachment with Donald Danforth Plant Science Center in collaboration with NOVUS International. I will get the detail across as we go. Thank you very much. Now, before I proceed, I would like to salute my nation. Nigeria's calling to serve our father's land with strength, might, and heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might for nation bound with freedom and unity. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, I have a dream. I had a dream as a child, and as an adult, I still have a dream. When I look at my nation, Nigeria, I look at Africa as a region, I'm like, things cannot continue like this. And when I had the opportunity to visit the Western world, the aggression became more, that there must be a change. And from the look of things, what are the outcome of my dream? What are the dreams? Now, number one, to develop African nutrition and improve household food security. You can see the picture there. That's a typical remote household kitchen where food is being prepared. You can see the way things are done. It arouses irritation in me for a change. I want to empower women and children to make informed choices on their intake. These people eat anything around available or affordable, not having the knowledge of what exactly they should eat to advance their life, to make them better economically, to make them more productive economically. Just like Ellen said earlier, women do a lot of work regarding agriculture, and they get so little, and they are ever at risk when it comes to development, nutrition, and health. That it's not supposed to continue, and there must be a change. Thirdly, to improve rural livelihood and female economy. Women are mostly marginalized in an African home. Things cannot just continue like this. So what do I do with my dream? How do I realize this dream? After wondering, looking around, comparing with the inner aggression, there must be a change. Things must not continue like this. I said, oh, I have to do something. And how did I start doing something? Development. There is really no dream, no desire without effort. I decided, I proposed in life that I'm going to get something, I'm going to advance, I'm going to get education, I'm going to build capacities to be able to do this. I will not sit down in my father's bedroom thinking that a change will come without me going out. I must develop myself. I got education. I have PhD, nutrition and dietetics. I have MSc Food Technology. I found out that I need to go to communities. I need to learn how to do it and how to enter community, how to relate with community. I went for Masters in Public Health with specialization on health promotion and education. And basically, on the fundamental, I have BSc Food Science and Technology. And it did not end there. Even my research activities for my qualifications has been geared towards improvement of food security, developing nutrition, fighting poverty, improving livelihood. For my PhD, I have carotenoid content retention, bioavailability, and consumer acceptability for Gari. Gari is a product from cassava. I will explain that later, from biofortified cassava root. That's a drive on the fight against vitamin A deficiency, which is on the rise in Africa. For my MPH, I worked on intra-urban disparities in household food securities. There is serious disparity when it comes to rural, urban. If you come to Nigeria, if you go to urban city, everything is fine. If you go to the rural, things are not okay. Even within the urban, there are still disparities. So with respect to food security, I conducted a survey to know how things are, where does the skew lies. Is it normal? Is the distribution normal or not? I looked at that. Then for my MSc, I worked on cassava. And it was a mission to expand utilization of this crop in Africa. Then for my BSc, I did work on soybean and sweet potato. It was an attempt to contribute to the solution to protein energy malnutrition, which was on the rise in Nigeria then. So the dream and the development has always been on. Now again, I did not live there, I did not end it there. Aside from the classroom, education and qualification, I still felt I needed some trainings. And I really am fortunate. I'm a product of help. I'm a product of benefit from a lot of organizations in Nigeria. my story will never be complete without remembering some of these organizations which I mentioned here. United States International Visitors Leadership Program, sponsored by the United States of Department. I owe them a lot of thanks. I had an invitation from the U.S. Department in 2010 to visit some countries here in the U.S. to see how women development can be realized, how women program can be managed. It was a women entrepreneurship program that I came for, sponsored by the government of the United States. Thanks to them, because the program impacted my life. It gave me confidence and the know-how to do it better and to achieve my dream. African Nutrition Leadership Program, I was a beneficiary in 2009 on a team building and nutrition leadership capacity development in South Africa, sponsored by African Nutrition Leadership Program as well. It was an experience that has contributed tremendously to where I am today, and I'm proud to say thanks to all of them. And even to food composition training. As a child, I've always been interested in knowing what I eat, to be empowered on my intake and the people around me. If you come to my household in Nigeria, everybody, once I'm in the family, everybody knows that you must be careful of what you eat, or else PJ will crucify you. You must take control of what goes into you. Not too much of starch, or not too much of fat, all this. So I passionately, unconsciously pass it to everybody around me. So I've always been that, and I went for a course sponsored by Harvest Plus, still in the US in 2006, to learn how to develop and manage food composition table for my country. And again, on capacity building, I can't but mention award. Award is the height of it all, the grand finale of my capacity development as a woman scientist in Africa, in Nigeria. Award, I will not belabor you on that. Elena said it all, is African Women in Agricultural Research and Development. The three-leg mission, it's become 4 now, is mentoring. I have been mentored. And from the mentoring experience from Award, I can say confidently, I am better off. I mentor other people now confidently. People even come to me, PJ, can you just mentor me? Lecturers will bring their students, PJ, do this for them and share whatever experience you have with them and bring them up. And I trace it back to Howard. Kudos to Howard on that. Building science skills. Prior to my fellowship with Howard, science skill has always been, science publication has always been no-go area. The confidence is there, but not at its full measure. But with experiences, with trainings, capacity buildings, travel, sponsorship at conferences, I build skills in science. Publication is no longer a threat to me now. Putting down my research findings and disseminating to the whole world is not a dream that cannot be realized for me anymore, and I say kudos to Award on that. Even leadership. As a child, well, I've always been told that you are a leader, but it has never been proven, it has never been tested. But with our experience, the leadership came out, it was encouraged, it was developed, and it came out. I led a lot of women's group in Nigeria, in faith-based organizations and some other organizations. Leading a group is not a big deal anymore with Howard experience. From my Howard experience, just like I said, I have increased self-actualization and confidence. I can say that anytime, any day. And increased networks and visibility professionally, emotionally, socially, and academically. I am members of so many professional bodies. I get invitations as a speaker in conferences internationally and locally. And with this experience, it makes me to reach. Because if I go for any program, I wouldn't want to disgrace myself. I have to be versed in the subject matter. I have to prepare very well. I have to rehearse and all that. And with that, with experience, with time, the confidence is built, the bonus is there, and that's why I can stand before you today and say what I'm saying. Now I can do all things. It's a paradigm shift that Award personally gave me, which I like. Before Award experience, I'll be like, can I do this? Can I do it? But especially in advocacy, I'm privileged to be involved in some advocacy moves in Nigeria with policymakers and all that. When it comes to packaging my story, facing policymakers and all that, it's no big deal anymore. Even going through protocols, because I had that training, going through protocols to meet, to advocate, to lobby, it's pretty easy with award, and thanks to award. And from award again, I am now in St. Louis, Missouri, the United States of America, the God's own country. And just like Ellen said, in the course of our fellowship, we were made to write proposals after a series of training. We did that. We presented ourselves, our gaps, scientific gaps where we need development based on what we're doing way back home. So we forwarded the proposals. I was screened, series of screening, and I was privileged to be the only one from Nigeria sent to USA to be on this thing, on this research attachment for 9 months. And what am I doing here? I'm building capacity on the fight against vitamin A deficiency in Africa. Like I said, my PhD work was on this, but what I did in Nigeria was limited to my experience and to my capacity. Coming here is adding to it day by day. By the time I leave, I'm sure I will be a better person on the fight against vitamin A deficiency in Africa. And what am I working on? I'm working on the African staple, cassava. In the US, if I say cassava, a lot of us may not understand, but when I say tapioca, I think some of us will be familiar with it. Tapioca is a cassava product. Cassava is a root crop. It's a popular staple in Nigeria. It's a food security crop. It's popular, especially in Nigeria is the highest producer of cassava to date in the whole world. And what do we do with cassava? We eat it, not knowing what is there, we just eat because it is available and affordable. The crop is drought resistant, anybody can plant it, anybody can process it, anybody can eat it. Meanwhile, there is more to cassava. Now, with the popularity of cassava, we thought, well, from composition, cassava is a starchy crop, is deficient in micronutrients and some other vitamins, is grossly low in protein, is low in micronutrients, yet is a staple in Africa. What do we do? And there is vitamin A deficiency on the increase on daily basis in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Amongst under 5, amongst women of childbearing age, children under 5, they suffer from vitamin A deficiency in their cognitive development and so many ailments associated with vitamin A deficiency. And we're like, what do we do with this problem? Here is cassava that is so popular, deficient in this micronutrient, yet it's available. Can we just improve the the nutritional status of cassava and make it a healthy staple available to people and all that? We said, fine, it's a challenge, let's look at it. The breeders came on board, processors came on board, everybody came on board. What do? We started brainstorming, and the breeders came up with the yellow flesh cassava that is rich in vitamin A and some other selected vitamins. That was successfully done by the breeders. I'm not a breeder, I'm a post-harvest person. At my level, with my own profession, it's like where the breeders, you have done yours by saying you have successfully added vitamins into cassava. But when it gets to my table as a food processor, as a food scientist, by the time this crop goes through processing, cooking, handling, storage, do these vitamins still available? And even in the tummy, the bioavailability of these vitamins, is it still there? So that we can now say, okay, everybody in Nigeria, eat cassava without fear, knowing fully that something is going into the system. So that's where I come in, and I cannot do it alone. I have to come here. America has the technology. The technology is there, the expertise is there. So I'm here to learn and to see how much it will retain, taking cognizance of processing and storage. That is why I'm here. That is my objective. That is my mission. So the work is retention study of beta-carotene and vitamin E in processing and in storage of some carotenoid-enriched cassava and cassava products and their fractions, peels, pulp, chips, and all that. For those of us who are not familiar with cassava, with yellow flesh cassava, That's the picture there. That's the root and the product from cassava, popularly called gari. That is the gari. That is the root that can be boiled and eaten with anything, sauces or whatever. And where am I doing this? I'm working with two organizations. I'm privileged again, not to be limited to Danforth Center, but to match the experience and the skill and the expertise of Danforth Center and that of NOVUS International. It's been an awesome experience working with the two organizations because they actually complement each other. NOVUS deals with animal nutrition, yes. There is no human nutrition without animal nutrition because the humans eventually eat the animal. So we are together. And the plant science as well, the center has its own contribution to my experience, and complementing it with that of NOVUS, I am balanced. Delivery. Now I've talked about the dream, I've talked about the development, now the delivery. Because if I dream and so much has been invested in me, what have I done with the investment? So that the gate will not say, this is an unworthy investment. I have been working at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture for over 11 years now in Nigeria. And what have I been doing in Nigeria with the development of farmers and processors at the grassroots to improve food security. You can see training going on there on using indigenous crops to advance livelihood. I developed capacity of the rural people on improved livelihood through local food processing. Then I joined advocacy team to the policymakers on agri-friendly programs, policy reforms. When we package our research activities, we test it, it works, we disseminate it to development practitioners, to potential donors and all of them, then to the policymakers, to the government. If there is need for programs, we'll let them see what we're doing and how the government should come in to back up whatever research we put up for better adoption and sustainability. That I do regularly in Nigeria. Now, we are making use of what we have to get what we want, regional problems, local solution. Like those pictures you were seeing there, they are pastry products made from yam, made from cassava, made from soybean. We don't grow it so much in Nigeria. We have so much of cassava, we have so much of yam. Why not see what happens to the composite flour when you mix yam and wheat flour? Mix it together and let's see what we want and see how appropriate the technology is and how impactful it will be on rural livelihood and food security. That's what I do. This one's down with uniform. They are women that we cluster together in Nigeria to create a conducive environment for them to enhance their productivity. These women, they're just doing their own with rudimentary practices, agri practices, and we're like, we got some funds from Dutch government to improve this women in three selected countries in West Africa. That's Nigeria, Benin Republic, and Sierra Leone. So we got the women, we developed them, we gave them for some facilities, we improved their capacities on their activities to be able to produce commercially competitive products that can advance their livelihoods. Now, we conduct surveys in Nigeria. I do surveys to know where the country is, what are the gaps, and where we can fit in. Like those children there, when we were doing it was when we were having the micronutrient survey, the status of health of children and the women of childbearing age in Nigeria. Those are the pictures there. Then when I was doing food composition of some Nigerian foods, we had a survey. We came up with most of the foods that are commonly taken in Nigeria. So I went to the villages to get samples of this food to know what exactly they are into it. Then I disseminate on agri research findings at conferences and seminars. I've said that already. So far, I have done this in some countries of Africa, Nigeria, this includes Nigeria, Benin Republic, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Cameroon, Mozambique, Uganda, and some other ones to come. After my training, what next? I hope to take the findings home to develop nutritional development, to develop nutrition for improved food and nutrition security. That's my dream. Transfer skills, acquire and knowledge gained to build local capacities. There are young scientists out there who don't even know what next and where to go from there. Award investing in people like us, expect us to go back home and train the local capacity. Whatever I gain in the US, I hope to take it back home and help others to get the same capacity. Not everybody can come to America. The few of us that come there, we go back and build the local capacities. Intensify advocacy, publicity on adoption of the newly improved cassava and cassava product. It's a new product. We don't know what the future holds with it, but we have to really do a lot of advocacy, a lot of publicity to get it adopted by farmers, accepted by consumers, and get it into the food system of Nigeria. You know, change is never easy, but we're going to get somewhere with it. Special thanks. My presentation will not be complete without saying special thanks to the following. Award for all I've said. Bill Melinda Gates Foundation actually sponsored my research attachment here. USAID, they've always been there for me. NOVUS, it's fun. It's great coming across NOVUS and the Danforth Center. IITA, that's my base, that's my kudos. Thanks to them. And coming to St. Louis, coming to US, people have been there. We were discussing when we were coming. I said, American people are very nice. When I was coming way back home, my thinking was Americans are proud, Americans are snobs and all that. But when I came here, people were helpful. I can't but say thanks to St. Paul's Evangelical Church. I got an apartment that was not furnished. The church came, furnished the apartment for me, came for my grocery, for my shopping. Everybody was just all around me. I said, oh, what is all this? So Americans can be this nice. Churches, individuals, they came to my aid when I needed. I never lacked it. I never missed home. I never for once said, oh, I wish I'm in my country. It's me fun, it's me good all through, and I said thank you. And to everybody here, thank you.
Good evening to all of you, and thank you for coming to listen to our talks. I'm Vetes Kalema from Uganda. I'm honored to be here, to be able to share my journey toward sustainability of woodland resource for rural livelihood. I call it a journey because it's a long way to go to be able to attain this objective, and it involves so many activities, so many people, so it's my journey, and I'm glad that I've taken the first step. Okay, first of all, I'm going to take you through the overview of my presentation. I'm going to give you an introduction of Uganda. I'm going to give you a background, personal background, education, and place of work, what I do back home. Then I'm going to take you through our research attachment, impact of the research attachment, my experience as an award fellow, and acknowledgement. Uganda is a country in East Africa. It lies on the equator, so most of the areas or all the country is always warm throughout the year. So we have an opportunity to have summer throughout the year. So when you go to Uganda, this is a never miss spot to visit. That's where equator cut across. So where you're there, you are at zero. Uganda is a blessed country. We have distinctive natural heritage, biological and cultural diversity. We have a big lake, Victoria, where the source of Nile, River Nile is. We have mountains. We have Mountain Rwenzori, also known as Mountains of Blue Moon. And then we have rare mountain gorillas. So that is Uganda in a nutshell. My personal background. I'm a Tanzanian married to a Ugandan, so I represent East Africa. And I live in Uganda. I'm a mother of 2 wonderful sons. I'm down to earth, friendly, responsible, empathetic especially to those who are less fortunate than myself, kind and considerate. I'm also hardworking, straightforward person. What you see is what you get, and always ready to learn. I grew up in a village northwestern Tanzania, where agriculture is a major source of food and income. So that's my entry point in agriculture. I was born in it. Education background. I have a diploma in range management. I have a certificate in gene bank technology. I have a bachelor degree in science, majored zoology and wildlife ecology. I have masters in environmental sciences and PhD in plant ecology, so I'm an ecologist. What I do back home. Before award, I was a lecturer, Department of Forestry, Biology and Ecosystems Management, Makerere University. And I was also a part-time lecturer, Department of Biological Sciences, Kyambogo University, and both universities they are in Kampala, Uganda. Now it was at that time when a colleague of mine who benefited from award, she's an award fellow 2009, she introduced me to award fellowship. She told me that there is this opportunity and I know that you are going to love it. So I put in my application and then I got it. So as an award fellow, the first thing we do, we go for mentoring workshop or mentoring course. And during that mentoring session, they introduced us to a tool called Life Purpose Roadmap. And that tool helps you to define your life purpose. What do you want to be remembered for? Or what do you want to achieve? It's a kind of your legacy. So it doesn't only help you to develop what you want to do or to identify your life purpose, you also get an opportunity to identify steps that will lead you to achieve your dream or your purpose. So there are 3 major components. What do you need to do career-wise, or what kind of trainings do you need so that to be able to attain your goal? What kind of research do you want to be involved in so that to be able to drive towards achieving your goal? And what kind of job position that you would wish to hold so that to have an impact towards achieving your goal? So it was at this moment when I thought that I always love to work with people. I always want to help people. So I said, which job can I hold that can have really impact to people? So I thought I need to work with a project, because with a project you are more focused, and if the project does what you want to do, you are in a right place. And then I said I need to work with a project, and it should be also I would want to work with the international organizations so that you can have major impact to what you want to do. So when I went back to my university, I was a lady in a mission. So I was in a lookout, and guess what? there was this opportunity. There was Sustainable Land Management Program in Uganda. They were looking for a technical advisor. So I applied and I got it. So that's why I'm calling it Poster Award, and I give thanks to award because it was like an eye-opener. And opportunities, they are always there. It's you to be focused and to know what you want. So I joined Sustainable Land Management. Sustainable Land Management, we work with communities. And I thought it's very good because that's what I wanted to do all along. We work with communities in 6 districts in drylands of Uganda. And my plan was to begin with 1 district. And here I am, we begin big with 6 districts, so I'm really happy and I'm loving it. So these communities derive their livelihoods from natural resources, that's woodlands. So they depend on woodlands for timber, poles, firewood, charcoal, medicine, food, fiber, carvings, spiritual, and also aesthetic values. And also woodland, they provide services such as carbon sequestration and water regulation. So most of the time, they depend on these woodland because first of all, they are subsistence farmers and they depend on rain-fed agriculture. So given with climate change, we are experiencing prolonged drought, we are experiencing erratic rainfall, so the crop section is not doing very well. So the only option they have is the woodland. So savanna woodland play an important role in a country economy and human livelihood strategies. So when they are not cultivating to get crops so that they can sell and get money for their families, for school fees, for medical bills, they do burn charcoal. So these are wood already stocked, ready to burn charcoal, and this is charcoal already produced. And then woodlands, they are source of feeds for their animals and source for firewood. You can see young girls from collecting firewood. So the increasing harvesting of various species is affecting woodland sustainability and hence threatening the sustainable livelihoods for these people because they depend on those woodlands. So what are we doing to help them so that they can have the woodland still to serve them and yet keep on living? That's when sustainable land management comes in. Sustainable land management works with communities in implementing sustainable land management practices and technologies. So we train our farmers, communities on agroeconomic practices, such as teaching them, training them on conservation agriculture, things like crop rotation, and any other agronomic practices, just to mention a few. We also encourage them on using manure, that's under nutrient management, use cow dung, use compost manure, use kitchen waste, and also we train them on water management. And here we advocate structures, simple structures to collect runoff water when it rains for irrigation, or collecting water from their roofs for their domestic use. We also train them on tillage and residue management. Here, we advocate minimum disturbance to the soil since the soil is already dry, so you don't need to turn it upside down and lose that little water that is in the soil. And on residue management, we discourage burning. So we encourage them to use the crop residues to do mulching so that they can protect the soil from losing water. We also advocate agroforestry, where we teach them and help them to identify tree species they should use in their farm. We encourage integrating legume trees in their farms and growing fruit trees. We also take them through restoration and rehabilitation of degraded lands, where we work with other institutions and help to train them which species should they use to rehabilitate their land. We also advocate rangeland management, where we encourage them to do bush clearing, to do stocking rate, to do everything they can do to keep their rangeland and use them sustainably. We also collaborate with the Ministry of Energy to advocate efficient biomass energy production, where we train them on using efficient kilns when they are producing charcoal, because currently the method they are using, it's not efficient. So here are some of our gardens. They are communities' gardens where they are practicing mulching to conserve soil moisture. And mulching, it doesn't only conserve soil moisture, it also suffocates weeds. So you reduce the dependence on herbicides. When also these mulches decompose, they add organic matter to the soil. So you are using your soil sustainably. And I talked of water management structure. Here we have simple groundwater storage. When it rains, since the area is a bit open, you have many runoff, and sometimes it runs heavily, it moves through the soil. So you can have a small, simple structure like that. Like that, where you can collect all the runoff for irrigation, and you can use it later when it stops raining. And another structure I talked about, it's the structure that are constructed close to the homestead, because they have to harvest the water from their roofs, use the gutters. They use gutters, collect water, and this one is a bit advanced because you have to put also a plastic material between the soil and water, and you have to cover it too, because it's close to homes and we don't want kids falling in it. So I said we also advocate fruit growing. So our communities, they are growing oranges, mangoes, and the pineapples. And also farmers, they are innovative. They have their ways they do their things. They have their traditional knowledge. They have their innovation. Now, one of their innovation is that one, where farmers collect used mineral water, and they put local brew inside, made of banana, and they prick little holes around the bottle so that fruit flies can come in, because they come in because of that banana brew, and they go inside and drink and get drunk and drown in it. Then that's how they manage to kill them. So farmers, they are also innovative. We also organize farmer-to-farmer learning visitation, where we take farmer from one district to another district so that they can learn those good innovations and tradition knowledge, and go back and practice them to their place. We also train farmers on alternative means of income generation. For example, we train them on beekeeping. We also train them on value addition, since they are going to be harvesting honey. How do they pack it? Where do they market it? So with fruits, sometimes they get too much fruit, they can't eat all of them. They would want to make juice out of it. So we train them about hygiene issues, how to pack it so that you can get good market. And we are helping them to put roadside markets so that they can sell their products. Also, we are establishing knowledge management system, where we'll be documenting and putting all good farmers' innovations, tradition knowledge, and lesson learned. And this system, and the knowledge and everything you will be putting in it will be shared with other districts that are not part of the program, and they can be even shared with neighboring countries, so that's how we upscale the technologies. So what have been my personal contribution? My personal contribution is I touch people's lives. No matter how small you do, it changes someone's life. So I'm part of a team that is introducing or working with the communities, introducing sustainable land management practices, and this will help people to improve their livelihoods, and at the same time, we reduce the pressure these people are putting to the woodlands so that they can have something else to rely on, and this will give woodland chance to grow. Because I did a previous study on a regeneration of these woodlands, and I found out that they have good regeneration capacity. They can resprout, they can reseed, but what is missing is time. They never get time to grow because of continuous harvesting. So if we have some activities going on land, then woodland will get opportunity to grow. I'm a role model to many rural women and students. I'm educating young scientists and researchers. As a lecturer, you teach a lot of students. They go and do well and do their masters. They go to their PhDs. So it gives me satisfaction because I say I had a hand on it. Yes, I'm not doing it alone, but I have contributed towards their achievement. I'm a mentor. I'm mentoring a junior scientist as a part of award fellowship. You have to mentor a junior scientist officially, but I'm also being mentoring other young men and young women, but unofficially. And we also do career guidance to high school girls. As a part of award, there is a role modeling event where you get opportunity to go to reach out. Either you can choose to go to schools, you can choose to go to village, to the institutions, where you can talk to people and guide them. So here is one of our activity as award fellow of 2010. We had a joint role modeling event where we went and talked to young, wonderful girls about a career. And you find most of students or girls at this stage, they have that perception that science is very hard, and at the end of the day, you never get to get good money, you never get to sit in a nice office like people doing arts and so on. So we went there and talked to them and tell them that no matter where you are, it's your effort. If you put in effort and you concentrate on what you are doing, you can excel in wherever you are. So it doesn't have to be arts to be able to do better. Then we told them that here we are doing very well, and we are scientists. So it helps. Now it brings me to research attachment. Research attachment is one of award package. When you are an award fellow, you get an opportunity to develop your research proposal, and you send it there, and you get an opportunity to apply. Where do you want to go to? Either to learn how you are going to analyze your data when you do your research, or to get to enhance your skills. So I developed a research proposal entitled Developing Strategies for Adapting to Climate Change in Uganda's savanna woodland. I did that because I see woodland being very important to communities, and I see woodland they are under pressure of human use. And then we have climate coming in, also affecting the very woodlands. So what can we do to help farmers to adapt to this climate change and be able to utilize their woodlands sustainably? So I came up with this proposal. Climate change poses a serious threat to survival of many species, and in doing that, it will threaten the well-being of people. However, the extent of the impact of changing climate on livelihoods will heavily depend on how prepared the communities are to deal with the negative impacts of climate change or climate variability. So how do we prepare the communities? We prepare communities through giving them the right information. How do you get the right information? You'd have to have ability or skills to predict what is coming in the future so that people will know what they are likely to face and how are they going to manage it. So that brings me to why I'm here. Since I want to do the predictions and know where species are, how are they reducing, so I thought that I needed to strengthen my skills in creating climate-related database. So I applied to be in Missouri Botanic Garden. That's the right place where I can do all this. So I work with William Brown Center and the garden to strengthen my skills on modeling and predictions, GIS, vulnerability assessments, and the other spatial analysis skills that I'll be using to analyze my data. Impact of research attachment. Research attachment is giving me an opportunity to work with the Institute of Excellence, like Missouri Botanic Garden. I'm getting an opportunity to work with a team of researchers and scientists with advanced knowledge on climate change and ethnobotany issues. And being here, I'm building and strengthening network between home and host institute. And with good data analysis skills, I will be able to publish with strong journals, and I'll be able to publish with my host institute. So what are the benefits to my home institution? The knowledge acquired will be shared, hence building capacity for researchers, lecturers, and students. And the knowledge will build and strengthen the capacity of my institution on climate change analysis, vulnerability assessments, and adaptation planning. And having that knowledge will be able to support the efforts of my institution or research institution in integrating climate change adaptation measures into developing, planning, and ecosystem management practices, and also strengthen collaborative capacity with the scientific community, the public, conservationists, sustainable development workers, and the policymakers. So my experience as an award fellow. Award fellowship have increased my visibility. Like I'm here, research attachment, publication, we go through writing for publication, writing for proposal, funding proposal. So thanks to award. Networking, I get to know people. Now I know people at William Brown Center, I know people in the garden, I know a few people at Novus, I'm open to know more people. And it has increased my confidence because the more you get trainings, the more you meet more people, you become confident. And I've acquired leadership skills through awards, so now I'm a good leader than I used to be. And I'm more focused to my career thanks to Life Purpose Roadmap. So I know that opportunities they are there. So I have to determine my fate. I don't have to leave it to chance. Opportunity to mentor and be mentored officially. And I also got opportunity to join professional bodies. So here are some of our mentees. And this is my mentor, Professor Eilu. And these ladies, this one is my mentee, award mentee. I take this opportunity to thank Award for coming up with this wonderful educative program that gives opportunities to African women. My sincere thanks to NOVUS International, USAID, for sponsoring this research attachment. I'm very grateful to William Brown Center and Missouri Botanic Garden for making my research attachment possible and for hosting me. These are the people I work with every day, and they are really wonderful, lovely people. I thank my home institute, my mentor, and my family for their support. And I give you African Award Fellow smile. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight we tell you our stories from the African continent. Many people think that Africa is a country, but I think from now you are getting to know that it's a continent with more than 50 countries. I come from a beautiful country located in the western part of Africa. My name is Matilda Eyim Akono. I'm a research scientist with the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Animal Research Institute. I don't have agricultural background. I have a master's in clinical microbiology. This will be the outline of my presentation. My country is located in the western part of Africa. It is the same country that Kofi Annan, the UN Secretary, immediate past UN Secretary General, comes from. It is located in the western part of Africa, bordered in the south by the Gulf of Guinea. The north, east, and west are bordered by Burkina Faso, Togo, and Cote d'Ivoire. Interestingly, these three African countries are Francophone, but Ghana is an Anglophone country, and we speak the Queen's English, the British. We were colonized by the British. We gained our independence on 6 March 1957 and became the first African country to have her independence. On the eve of independence, the then president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, said, and I quote, "The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked to the total liberation of the African continent," end of quote. Since 1957, Ghana has helped many African countries attain independence and continue to assist other African countries, to attain stability. My people are very warm and friendly, very hospitable. In Ghana, you find the largest artificial lake called Lake Volta, more than 8,500 kilometers square. We are ranked as a lower to middle income economy by the World Bank. Ghana is rich in gold, diamond, forestries, and recently we discovered oil in large quantities, and we've started drilling it actually. We are a democratically elected government. We started going to the polls in 1993. And so much like America, we also go to the polls every 4 years. And 7th December, we will go to the polls. This is a zoo community, so of course I have to talk about animals. We have animals in Ghana. We have one zoo, mainly Kumasi Zoo, that's the second largest city in Ghana. We have a lot of wildlife, but we prefer keeping them in their natural habitat. So under the Fourth Republic, these are the democratically elected governments that we've had. The first one is Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, who ruled from 1993 to 2001. He is from the National Democratic Congress, NDC. For 8 years, he ruled democratically. We elected him twice. And he handed over power to the new Patriotic Party flag bearer, John Agyekum Kufuor, who was elected twice. And he handed over to Professor John Evans Atta Mills, who unfortunately did not finish his first term in office. He died of natural causes and became the first president, democratically elected president ever to have died in Ghana. As our constitution says, in the absence of the president, the vice president takes over. So 6 hours after the death of our president, the vice president, John Dramani Mahama, was elected as the president, or was not elected, but sworn into office as the president of Ghana. So as I speak, since July till now, John Dramani Mahama is our president. So he did not get elected or receive power from Atta Mills. That's why there's no arrow to him. And so currently, John Dramani Mahama is our president, and he's contesting with Akufo-Addo of the NPP, and we'll see who wins on 7th December. By way of educational background, I went to one of the prestigious senior secondary schools in Ghana run by the Catholics. It was called St. Rose's Senior High. Discipline was very high in that school. Trust the Germans for that. And it is a school made, those who come to that school are mainly from the middle class and the rich. So these are schools for children whose parents are doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, you name them. My father himself was a teacher, and I grew up in some pretty good neighborhood. Not every African has the typical African story. Some of us have come from a middle-income background, and so our lifestyle is a little different. And so I grew up in very good neighborhood, having doctors, lawyers, engineers as my neighbors. I have some pretty good marks on my legs. This I did not get from farming or climbing of trees, but rather from the fall of bicycles, scaling of walls, playing footballs or hockeys. I mean, it was a very beautiful childhood. I gained admission into the university, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, in the second largest city in Ghana, Kumasi. Of all the 6 courses that the university offered me to choose, I never chose agriculture, sadly. I did biological sciences for my first degree and proceeded to the School of Medical Sciences to obtain a master's degree in clinical microbiology. For work experience, I have graduated not too long ago, so I have very limited work experience. In 2003, I did my 1-year compulsory national service at the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research in Tropical Medicine. This is a German-Ghana research institute, and it's mainly focusing on human diseases. And whilst there, I did my master's with them and graduated in 2006. In December 2006, I joined the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Animal Research Institute, as a research scientist. It's funny because I have no agricultural background. What was I doing with this research institute? However, the CSIR, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research Ghana, was established by the government of Ghana in 1958. So right after our independence in 1957, the then President Kwame Nkrumah set up the CSIR. It was actually a sister with the Ghana Academy of Sciences, but along the line they split it for the CSIR to continue organizing and coordinate scientific research in Ghana, and for Ghana Academy of Sciences to pursue whatever they do. The CSIR was re-established in its present form in 1996. The mandate was still the same, but the emphasis was now placed on the private sector concerns, where the CSIR was supposed to help the private sector solve the problems that they are facing in their respective industries, and to also commercialize their research findings. The mandate of the CGIAR is to pursue the implementation of government policies on scientific research and development, advise the sector minister on scientific technologies advances likely to be of importance to national development, to cooperate and liaise with international and local bodies and organizations, the universities and private sectors. The CGIAR, since its establishment in 1958, has had 13 research institutes under it, with a total strength, according to the 2010 census that we did, a total staff strength of 3,000, of which 600 are researchers. The 13 research institutes of CGIAR are the Savannah Agricultural Research Institute, soil, crops, plants, genetic resources, forestry, building. So just as the name represents, that's exactly what they do. So if you take Oil Palm Research Institute, for instance, they research into oil palms and coconut and anything that is in the pine family. Water Research Institute researches into water bodies and aquatic life. The Food Research Institute does anything about food. And the Animal Research Institute, where I am, does anything, all research activities that is into animals. The Director General of the CGIAR is Dr. Abdullahi Baba Salifu, and for the first time in 2009, a female, Dr. Mrs. Intermensa, became the Deputy Director General of the CGIAR. The Deputy Director General is the one in charge of all the research activities in the 13 research institutes, and the Director General does the policy aspect of the work. My institute, the CGIAR Animal Research Institute, henceforth referred to CGIAR-ARI, is mandated to develop and transfer technologies to improve livestock and poultry production, to reduce food insecurity, poverty, and natural resource degradation in Ghana. Some of our objectives is to genetically improve farm animals, control and manage animal diseases and disease vectors. What do I do back home? I joined them in 2006 because they were looking for someone to help them set up a molecular biology laboratory. And with my experience from the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research in Tropical Medicine, I went in to help. And after helping them set up, I was asked to help run it for a while. Obviously, I had no interest in agriculture, I have no background in agriculture. My dream was to move into the medical field. I've worked with human health and all. I have my training in clinical microbiology. So what was I doing with in the agricultural field? So in the lab, I work mainly in the lab, the molecular biology laboratory, where I use molecular techniques in the rapid diagnosis of diseases, so a veterinarian can immediately offer prompt treatment. I train scientists, technicians, students on the use of molecular techniques. I assist geneticists, the breeders, to use molecular techniques to identify indigenous breeds for the purpose of breed improvement and conservation. I also help other scientists do whatever research that they want to do. Once you need my help, I'm in. So I've worked with reproductive physiologists, even though I have no idea of what they were doing. If you need my help, hey, I'm in. So basically, that's what I do there. Before I saw my presence there, like I said, it was a stepping stone for me. It was just to go in, help them do whatever they needed, and get out of the place. So I was hardworking, but highly unfocused, pleasing people. I didn't want to offend anybody. I was managing situations, but I thought I was leading. I was heading that molecular biology lab, but after my training in the award leadership, I realized I was managing, not actually leading. With my background, not the girl next door, but the tomboy in the area, I'm very aggressive, but not violent. I was hard on people, particularly women. I saw mankind as lazy. And I'm like, if you find yourself in any job, you have to work extra hard to prove that you deserve to be here, so that other women are not cut off. And that concept that I had made me very strict on fellow women. I was picky and domineering in a team. If you won't talk at a meeting, don't come. If you come, open your mouth and say something, or I'll just say it and go. I was focused on achieving goals. I didn't care how it affected people. I can drive the team to stay up late to work on something because I need the results. But I didn't care how that activity or by pushing them, how it was affecting them, and really not minding what people were feeling. In 2008, my director, I don't know if he heard that I wanted to leave, nominated myself and this lady, Patricia, to attend a workshop at the CSIR head office, where award team members have come in from Nairobi to tell us about award. Now, it sounded good and all. Both of us tried after telling a few people. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I did not win, but the woman won. Probably the director took the two of us to that meeting because both of us shared similar qualities. We were both aggressive. The danger there was that she was older and could easily get away with so many things, and she acted with more wisdom despite her aggression. And many people have warned me against her that don't associate so much with this lady. She's this, she's that, she's that. And I'll go like, you have no idea who I am. You don't know anything about me and you're trying to warn me against somebody. Now, I am worse than she is. Because she can't run, I can run. She can't jump on tables at meetings, I can jump on tables. So there's so many things I can do that she can't do. And so it was a great bond for us. We really coordinated so well. And people will remark that it was terrible having this woman alone at meetings, and now I have to put up with two of you. How difficult can that get? Now, as the woman went through the award fellowship, I began seeing changes in her at the institute. At a point, I became the only aggressive woman standing. Although I didn't tell you, in my institute, there are 40 research scientists, only 9 are women. The rest are all men. So the statistics that you see are so true. And so being short was even a disadvantage to begin with. And so I thought I have to be aggressive to be noticed all the time. But I began seeing changes in this woman, and I wanted to know what it was. Most of the time I'll go to her and ask, are you all right? Then she'll be like, yeah, I'm fine. She was working on herself. She was correcting her own mistakes. She had toned down, but was still getting things done. That was the most important part. In 2009, I reapplied for the fellowship. I did not win. In 2010, I applied. I said, this is the last one. And then I won. Woo. However, in 2009, the woman chose to mentor me. She told me that I am intelligent, beautiful, young, and all those things. But then she added, you are very foolish. And she's the only one who can, for the first time, tell that to my face. And so she said she wants to help me to have a beautiful career in agriculture, calm down, and I can make so much impact because I have so many years ahead of me in the field. She has less than 7 years to go on retirement. And so she wants to spend the rest of the years correcting the damages she has already caused. But I have just started. I don't have enough damage, so many damages to correct, but I can achieve so much if I focus on it. So I began to think, okay, how about a career in agriculture? I was just using this as a stepping stone. So let me now look deep into it and see what I can do to help. After all, I owe it to my people. The very good schools I have gone to, the good roads I drive on, all the nice places I visit, were made possible by kind people in society. Let me give back to them what I have taken from them. So I humbled myself enough to learn from this woman. And for 1 year, she is a sociologist. And for a whole year, she mentored me. So it was more of people skills that I picked from her. In 2010, when I became a fellow, I was mentored by a man. Now, he is a very soft person. So the transition wasn't too smooth for me. Too aggressive, I can't become too soft within a year. So I needed someone, a much older person with more experience in the field of agriculture, and at the same time, someone who is so humble enough and still achieving his goals. And so I picked this mentor. Now, what does not force the mentors on us? We choose our own mentors. You have to see something good in somebody and want to learn from him or her. And so Dr. Frederick Obisi, a senior lecturer at the University of Science and Technology in Accra, mentored me. And in 2011, as the fellowship requires, I also picked another female colleague. The fellowship says a junior scientist. Now, I could find junior scientists in my institute, but I wasn't interested in any of them. I chose a colleague because I could see her, her world just coming crumbling before her. She was not aggressive at all, my exact opposite. too submissive that I have even used her a few times to achieve my own goals, even though we are not in the same department. So she comes to work very early, leaves very late, very tired, satisfying people and not getting anything done for herself. And so I helped her to change. And 3 months into the program with her, she was nominated as a supervisor in a particular project in her division. In 2011, April specifically, I was appointed to head the Animal Health and Food Safety Division. By accepting that position, I became the first female to head that division. It is the division with the highest number of researchers, a total of 12 of the 40. It is a diverse microbial research interest. So there are parasitologists, entomologists, those who are interested in ticks. And the difficulty there is to harmonize the research work of all these researchers. I became the youngest person ever in the establishment of the Animal Research Institute to be in management position. The question I always ask is, could I have made it without award? Yes and no. If I had stayed on the job and maybe developed interest and stayed on that particular job, probably hard work could have given me that position, but it wouldn't have been this fast. And I know that I wouldn't have been a very good leader. Now, the Animal Research Institute has 4 technical divisions. Currently, I'm heading the Animal Health and Food Safety Division. The 2008 award fellow is heading the Commercialization and Technology Innovation Division. And the 2009 Norman Borlaug Fellow, who is also a woman, is holding the Ruminant and Natural Resources Management Division. Now, the Intensive Livestock Production Division is where my mentee is. And that division is being headed by a man. And we keep telling him that very soon my mentee will take over from him. And so now our director comes to management meetings, and for the first time, the women are up and the men are down. 3 women, 2 men. And our director is very proud of us, and we are like, director, one of these days, we will take your position. And jokingly, we tell him, you know we are the ones running the institute, right? Because as women, we do our homework, we discuss the agenda, we are looking out for our individual department's interest, but we're also looking out for the interest of the women in the whole institute. So with the award fellowship, as Betty has already said, it helped us to develop a purpose roadmap for ourselves. So at the 2009, when I became a mentee, I went for the orientation workshop, and I developed a research focus. Now, my research focus, I chose to work on poultry. I see poultry as a faster means by which you can improve on the livelihood of the poor, because the bird itself has a very short life cycle. 6 to 8 weeks, the broiler is ready. 16 to 18 weeks, the layer begins to give you eggs. And chickens can easily be reared by women and the youth. However, the poultry industry in Ghana is faced with 2 major challenges: quality but affordable feed, and then health problems. My mentee, who is a poultry nutritionist, is looking at developing affordable feed packages using agro-industrial byproducts. And her major challenge is how to reduce the anti-nutritive factors in this feed ingredients. And I hope that someday, with or without award research attachment program, Novus will offer her the opportunity that they have offered me, so that she can also do some groundbreaking research. The health problems is where I come in strongly with my background as a microbiologist. In the poultry industry, respiratory diseases of unknown etiology continues to affect our birds. Poor growth is very common. Poor egg quality and quantity is also very common in the industry. As a nation, we haven't looked at the possible role of other pathogens, such as infectious bronchitis virus and Mycoplasma gallisepticum, which typically gives such characteristic indications in birds. Now, I have done a few preliminary studies in 2010 and 2011 to actually use serological method to find the presence of activity of these organisms. What I haven't been able to do so far is to actually isolate the organisms and continuing from there. My career purpose is to generate technologies that can be used to control and possibly eradicate respiratory diseases in poultry, with the hope of increasing production, contribute to a decrease in protein malnutrition in my country, reduce unemployment, especially among the youth, of which 25% of Ghanaian youth, unfortunately, are unemployed, and help attain food security in Ghana. Now, the definition of food security has major components, and two of them is affordability and availability. So yes, we have chickens in Ghana, but they are not affordable to many. Now, the control of any disease requires an effective diagnosis, isolation, and characterization of the pathogen involved, using both conventional and classical techniques. There are more methods that I am not abreast with in terms of diagnosis, and I have no idea of how to isolate and characterize these pathogens. However, the isolation and characterization will help you trace the origin of these organisms and help you develop very effective control methods for them. Now, there are many technologies that are up, robust, more sensitive, and more specific, which I need to be abreast with to be able to solve the problem back home. My limited technical skills is what brought me to the United States. Under the kind sponsorship of NOVUS International, I am undertaking 8 months research attachment here to upgrade my technical skills in poultry disease diagnosis, learn some laboratory efficiencies, cutting back on losses, production systems and control strategies that is being adopted by the United States, which is helping you grow more chicken, have more chicken, and eat more chicken, to network and enhance my visibility. My training is split into two. I am actually at the Poultry Diagnostic and Research Center at Athens, Georgia. I came in this afternoon. I'm being mentored by Professor Holly Sellers and Professor Zavali Guillermo. The major activities I've undertaken so far, I've been there for 4 weeks now. I take lectures with their medical Masters in Avian Medicine students. So although I did not have lectures in mind when I came, I'm having more than what I wanted to do. From there, I go to the lab to learn viral isolation in embryos and cells, embryo lesions and cytopathic effects, identification of pathogens by the hemagglutination method, PCR and DNA sequencing, analysis of sequencing data, and phylogenetic analysis. I also attend seminars that is organized. I worked with the veterinarians to do necropsy. I hope to go to the state laboratory for more serological techniques, and also start a training next week in mycoplasma culture and characterization in one of the labs there. The part 2 will be from March to May 2013 here at NOVUS headquarters, learning about nutrition and health interaction. What have I been doing since becoming a fellow? I believe in giving back to the society. My mentor, mentee, and colleagues organize workshops for students, national service personnel who come to my institute for their 1-year internship course, internship national service. And we organized that in 2009. 2010, we organized the same thing for them. And the third one will be held this year, 2012. And we now do it for not only the national service personnel, but we also do it for the new recruits and the youth in my churches as well. I go to a very classy church with air conditioning and projectors and all, and the youth have no idea where their meal comes from. And so I thought it was good to share with them the agricultural aspect that they have been missing all this while. Generating and sustaining the interests of the youth in agriculture is our goal. These are some of the trainings that we give to them. Most importantly, we help them to set their own goals using the SMART code. These are pictures of the workshops we've organized before. In the same institute, we also organize the same workshop and seminars with different contents for the scientists and the senior staff, mainly the women. There's every woman has got another woman at the workplace she can't stand. And so it doesn't enhance productivity. And we need to empower the women to put aside their differences and come together and move the institute forward. In the near future, I hope to continue finding solutions to address health needs of poultry in Ghana, and with what I'm doing at the PDRC, I can see that dream becoming fulfilled. I hope to undertake some quality research, increase my visibility both locally and internationally with my research works, get a PhD, and probably become the first female ever to have one at ARI. Since its establishment, all the women who have passed through and those who are currently there, the maximum qualification we've ever had is masters. Now, our award has empowered us enough to know it is not good enough. We need to move on from that master's degree. I hope to organize more role modeling events in agriculture, focusing on science and agricultural science students, both in the second cycle and tertiary institutions. The science students like myself have never thought, we hardly think of agriculture. We see agriculture as a course for the weak and the unintelligent, or the not so smart students. And the students doing agriculture themselves think they are doing agriculture because they didn't get any better course to do. And so we hardly consider agriculture as a career. And a country whose economy is driven by agriculture, we cannot continue to have the youth thinking like that. And so if I'm 33 years, and 33 years ago, I never considered to have a career in agriculture, how much more the youth today who is having iPad for his birthday, or is having a trip to UK or US for holidays. He's not even thinking about agriculture. They are looking at the fancy job. So you see, every year students graduate from the University of Agriculture. How many of them get jobs in the agricultural sector? The pay is not good, so they move straight away into the banks, wearing the tie and the suit and all. That's where the money is, they think. Major achievement as an award fellow so far, now I am more purposeful, focused, and more determined now than ever to help reduce poverty and attain food security in Ghana, and have completely deleted leaving this field to pursue my previous dream. I am more aware of myself, knowing my strengths and my weaknesses. I am emotionally intelligent now. As short as I am, so is my temper, or so was my temper. But now, I am still vertically challenged, short, but my heart can now take in a lot of things. Increased confidence and enhanced my visibility. I am now a better leader, appreciating and respecting the opinions of team members, instead of always driving the team towards my goal. I'm a better team player now. I have found my feminine side. I am more empathetic, particularly towards women now than before. And this, I'm still working on it, so it is more empathetic. Not too long ago, at the leadership course, I was heavily pregnant then, and we were doing physical exercise to test our emotions and all. And I was so focused on the team achieving its goal that I had literally forgotten that I was pregnant. And Sweet Betty kept saying, "Matilda, are you okay? Matilda, are you okay?" I'm like, yeah, I am okay. Of course, I would say I'm not okay if I'm not okay. But she was so concerned about me, and I wasn't even concerned about myself. So I have become more empathetic towards women particularly. Now I am more assertive, I can say that. With what award has done for me, with what my mentors have helped me do, with what Novus is helping me to achieve, and with what I'm learning at PDRC, now, like Nelson Mandela, I can say I have a fear. Not that I am not capable, but that I am more powerful beyond measure. At the end of the day, I want to be a better role model for girls and women in Ghana. In my country, to be a better role model, you have to have a successful career, be a good wife, and a good mother. Because if you have a good career, and you are not a wife, then obviously you didn't have a husband to attend to, so you have all the time in the world to achieve that career. If you don't have children, then of course, it's just you and your husband, probably. And so what stops you from having a successful career? And so to be a good role model for women in society in my country, you need to have all these three. So as I'm pursuing to have a successful career, now I am married, and so with what award has done for me and what I've done for my own self, I'm trying to be a good wife. My husband is the exact opposite of me. very assertive. And I have a son, so I'm trying to be a good mother. I'm very grateful to the award fellowship for discovering me. If I had not met the fellowship in 2008 and become a mentee in 2009, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have a career in agriculture. I would have been in the medical field. But I see that as a very wrong move now, because many problems, sick problems that we are having, many health problems in humans, the underlying factor most of the time is nutrition. So if you could give the people good food, their immune system will also develop. They'll be more resistant to many of the diseases that they are faced with. And there'll be less work for the medical officers and the medical researchers to do. And that was even where I had initially wanted to be. I also thank NOVUS International for giving me this opportunity to build my capacity, go home and help develop my country. The staff of PDRC for the great work that they are helping me with, to the management and staff of CSR and ARI, to my colleagues, and then most importantly, my family, not forgetting my 9-month-old son, who understands that mommy has to be away from him for a short while so that his generation and the generation after him can have more chicken at affordable prices anytime, any day. Thank you.